Namaste everybody, welcome to YogaCandi. My name's Candace and today we have an all levels class which is absolutely perfect for those days when you wake up a little tired and sluggish and you need something that's going to give you a little boost of energy. So it is going to be a fairly powerful flow. So if you're feeling a little too lazy, maybe this isn't the class for you, but this is just going to build some fire in the body and energize you ready for the day. Probably not a great one pre-bed, so make sure it's in the morning or some other time during the day if you just need a good pick-me-up. So if you're a total beginner, I recommend you have a yoga block handy. I will show you with the block in the odd pose where you might need it. But you don't have to use a block today. It can be totally prop-free. And just remember to listen to your body. So although it's an all levels class, it's not really that suitable for total beginners. But if you're a total beginner, feel free to join in and have a go. And of course, listen to your body. And if anything doesn't feel right, just take a rest in child's pose. So without further ado, let's get straight into the class. If you take a nice comfortable seat, sit up tall through the spine and gently hug your belly button back. We're just going to take our hands to our knees, closing the eyes, tuning into the body. Now we're going to take nice deep inhales and exhales in and out of the nostrils throughout the flow today. If you understand Ujjayi breath, then join me with Ujjayi breath. Otherwise, keep the breath deep and long throughout the nostrils. Now we're going to take 5 mindful breaths. Taking our hands to our belly. On the inhale, feel the belly expand with air. And on the exhale, draw the belly button back nice and tight towards the spine. So inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, hug it back. 4 more of those. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. 3 more. Two more. One more. Exhale, contract the belly button back. Extend through the right hand. You can open your eyes and take it down to the mat. Drop your head to the left. And just feel that stretch down through the shoulder, through the neck, all the way to the fingertips. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Now gently roll the head slightly back and slightly down, looking at the floor. Just feeling into different parts of the neck there. Be very gentle and slow and mindful. And then roll the head slowly down towards the chest and over to the right side. Extend through the left hand, take the fingertips to the ground. Feeling into that stretch through the neck, the shoulder. Maybe you can feel it all the way to the fingertips. Continue breathing deep. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Now very slowly look down towards the ground, moving the neck slightly down and then slightly back, looking at the sky a little bit, Keep going, but very slowly, very gentle movements. Just getting into different parts of the neck and the shoulder. And then roll the head all the way down towards the chest. Look down, hands to the knees, arch the spine, hug the belly button back, pull your shoulder blades apart. Inhale, lift the chest, look to the sky. And release, coming onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath hips. Let's take some cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arch, tuck the tailbone and the chin. 2 more, just like this. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, arch. 1 more. Exhale, arch. Walk your hands forward, coming down into puppy pose, bringing the forehead to the floor. Your hips stay in line with your knees. Just breathe here nice and deep. Beginners, if you would like to, you can rest your head onto your block. Keep your elbows lifted off the ground. Hug your belly button back and keep your forehead on the floor, and just breathe deep. Now roll your hands a little closer towards your body, almost in your tabletop position. Send your bum all the way up and back into the sky for our downward facing dog. Let's find comfort in our down dog. Don't worry if your heels don't touch the ground just yet. With time and practice, they may just touch the ground. You bend your legs as much as you need to, but if you can straighten them. We want our shoulder blades to be pulling apart, so we're trying to get our armpits to look at each other. Hands are in line with the shoulders. Feet are hip distance. Toes slightly inwards, big toes pointing inwards very slightly, so that you get an internal rotation of your thighs. We're just going to take 3 deep breaths in our down dog, just warming up. You can start to move the legs if that feels good, or you can stay still. From here, roll your spine forwards, coming into plank pose. Your hands are under your shoulders, pressing into all 4 corners of your hands. Your feet are hip distance. Make sure your bum is not too lifted and not sinking. It's kind of in line with your head. So you're feeling a bit of a burn in your core. Hold this, hug your belly button back. And now bend your knees. You might need to walk your feet a little further forwards so your knees are almost in line with your hips. So you're like a tabletop with the knees hovering. Hold this for 3 breaths. Now step back into plank. Beginners, take the knees to the ground. We're going to exhale down, chaturanga, elbows close to the body. Inhale all the way to the floor, and then lift your chest off the ground as high as you can lift it. In baby cobra or full cobra. Exhale down. Send your bum all the way back to our downward facing dog. We're going to do that a few more times. So we're going to roll forwards into our plank. Nice and slow, all these movements. Slow but powerful. Hug your belly button back. You might need to walk your feet a little forward, bending the knees. Knees are still in line with the hips. Hover. Hug your belly button back to your spine. You can take a child's pose break at any point. Step back into plank. Beginners, take the knees to the floor. Otherwise, if you're a little stronger, taking a full chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or full cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, send your hips up and back into the sky for your downward facing dog. Feel free to rest your wrists if you need to. You can bring your knees down to the ground. Extend through the hands and just rest your forehead on the mat. Or we're going to take that sequence again. So from our down dog, roll forwards through the spine, tuck your chin into plank. Hold your plank, hug your belly button back. Get your knees in line with your hips, hovering them off the ground. Push up through the shoulder blades. Keep those knees lifted, hug your belly button back. Step back to plank. Beginners, drop the knees. Exhale, down. Elbows tucked close to the body. Inhale, up. Upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, up and back. Downward facing dog. We're just going to take one more and then we'll take a little rest for the wrists. Or rest now if you would like to. From down dog, roll forwards to our plank. Hold your plank. Walk your feet a little forward, hover those knees. Hug your belly button back. Step back to plank. Chaturanga, elbows close to the body. Come all the way to the floor and inhale for baby cobra or full cobra. Exhale, down. Send your hips back towards your heels in a kneeling position. Take your hands down to the mat. So we're going to take the palms the opposite direction, fingertips towards the knees and your thumbs on the outside edges of your hands. Find a little bit of a wave movement and just stretch through the palms, down through into the wrists. If you're a little new to yoga, it can be a lot of pressure on the wrists when you're not used to it. It can be quite painful, so just take breaks whenever you need to. Don't feel you have to complete this class fully in the very beginning. So rather do the whole class, but take breaks when you need to. Just keep stretching through. Give a little micro bend into those elbows to get deep into the palms. And then rest. Give your shoulders a little roll. And then coming down for a child's pose. Take your knees as wide as your mat. Extend through the hands. You can rest your head onto a block if you want to, or just bring your forehead all the way down to the floor. If your bum is very raised and not resting on your feet, you can always put a cushion or the block between your ankles and your bum, if that's more comfortable. Wherever you are, we're just going to rest here for 3 deep breaths. Wonderful. Push yourself back up. Make your way into tabletop position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Send your tailbone up to the sky, downward facing dog. Walk your dog if needed. Now roll forwards back into your plank. Hold your plank just for 1 deep breath. Bend your right knee, bring it down to the floor. Rotate your foot so the right foot is pointing towards the right, and come on off of your left hand. So we're in a modified side plank. So just stay here just for a moment and then hover. If you need to move your right hand a little forward, feel free to do that. And we're just going to hover this left leg off the ground and extend through the left arm. You can look to the sky, you can look straight ahead or down at the floor, whatever's more comfortable for your neck. Now take that foot down to the ground and extend. So we're taking a side body stretch. So start to push that left hip up towards the sky, stretching. And then we're going to add a bit of power. So we're going to lift that foot and the hand and bring that hand to the knee. And then inhale, stretch. Exhale, draw the hand to the knee. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hand to the knee. Inhale, stretch. Okay, that was 3 just to explain it to you. We're going to take 5 more in your own pace, following the breath. And stretch, coming down onto all fours. Inhale, drop the belly, look forwards. Exhale, arch, tuck the tailbone in the chin. Back into neutral, send it into a plank. Lifting the knees off the ground if you can. And then exhale, chaturanga, elbows close to the body. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Taking a couple of deep breaths, we're going to repeat that on the other side. Feel free to take a child's pose instead of downward dog if you need an extra break. Okay, roll forwards back into your plank. Hold your plank for 1 deep breath. And then drop this left knee down to the ground. Open up through the foot. So the foot is pointing towards the left side of the mat. Inhale your right hand to the sky and extend through the right leg. Keep the leg in line with your head. From here you can inhale, take a nice side stretch, stretching through that right hand, taking it down towards the mat, lifting your hips higher. So as if you're lifting this right hip up to the sky, getting deeper into that side body stretch. I'll talk you through 3 of these one more time and then we'll do 5 together. So inhale, nice stretch. Exhale, hand to knee, lift the leg off the ground. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hand to knee. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hand to knee. Now just keep that knee lifted just for a few breaths before we start our 5 pumps. Using that glute to keep the leg lifted. Now keep it down, inhale, stretch, taking our 5. And stretch one more time, sending it back into plank. You can take an easy plank on the knees, just like this, if you're a beginner and you need a little bit of a rest here, not to be too full on. Otherwise, take a full plank, and then we're going to chaturanga together, elbows close to the body, all the way to the chest. Inhale, baby cobra, or full cobra. Exhale down. Send your tailbone back towards your feet. We're going to take our wrist stretches once again. So just rotate your wrists in your nice kneeling pose. Just rotate the hands in one direction and then in the other. And we're going to do that same thing, taking the hands, rotating the fingertips so they face the knees. Your thumbs are on the outside edges. And just lean forwards, bending through the elbows very gently. Maybe finding a rocking motion from side to side, if that feels good, or you can just stay still, bending through the elbows, feeling that stretch through the hands. Whatever feels good, just feel it out. You can even close your eyes and just rock or be still. Giving those hands some TLC for just a moment here. And then come on off, give your hands another little roll. Open your knees as wide as your mat. Let's take 3 deep breaths in our wide-legged child's pose once again. Extend through the arms, forehead down to the ground. Just breathe deep. Taking one more deep breath here. Roll yourself forwards, bring your knees in line with your hips and make your way into a downward facing dog. Just walk your knees if you would like to. Look between the legs and lift up through the right leg. Look forwards and draw that knee close to your chest in your plank, so you're in a one-legged plank here. And then step it as far forward as you possibly can, just framing that foot so you're in like a runner's lunge. Bounce through the hips in your runner's lunge, and then inhale, raise the hands up to the sky and high lunge. The hips are facing forwards, your back leg is nice and straight, the heel is off the ground and the front leg is bent at a 90-degree angle. Make sure you can still see your big toe. If you want a bit more of a challenge, come onto the tippy toes of this right foot of the front leg. Taking one more deep breath. Frame the foot once again. Walk that foot to the outside edge of your right hand, so we're in lizard pose. Now, if you're a beginner, this may be very difficult. If you're just quite inflexible, you might want to use your block. Come up onto your block. Keep your legs nice and strong. Or you can even use your block to get a little deeper into your lizard pose. This lovely hip opener. And you can rest your forearms onto your block, keeping your hips facing forwards, the back knee is off the ground. You can rest it down on the floor if you would like to, if you need a bit of rest. Or you just want to get deeper into that psoas stretch. But otherwise, stay here, one more breath. And then just remove your prop. We're going to step back into plank. Walk your feet a little closer. We're going to do that knee hovering pose once again. So hug your belly button back. Now draw your knees down to the ground. With your knees touching, take your heels wider than your hips and sit back between your feet. If this is not possible, you can sit onto your prop. So your heels are on the outside edges of your thighs. Sit up tall, and we're going to take an arm stretch as well. So we're going to do cow face arms. If you know that, get straight into the pose. There are alternatives as well for beginners. Just bend your right arm up and over your head. Use your left hand to push that elbow a little further back so you're stretching the tricep here on the right side. If you want to go a little further and you're more flexible, you can take this left hand behind your back and see if you can touch your right fingertips, or maybe even interlace the fingertips so that you're taking a grip behind you. So this is hitting two birds with one stone. We're going to be stretching the shoulder as well here on the left side. So whichever of those variations you want to do, that's okay. Just choose one that works for your body. Sit up tall, make your back nice and straight, hug your belly button back. Close your eyes and let's take 3 deep breaths. Release the hands. Just bring them forwards and exhale, arch your spine. Take your hands to your knees. Draw your chin to your chest. Inhale, look up. Lift your chest to the sky. And let's come on forwards. Draw your feet together. Step back into plank. You're more than welcome to take an easy plank, taking your knees to the ground. But wherever you are, hold your plank for a nice deep breath. And then we're going to exhale chaturanga, so you can take your knees to the floor, take an easy chaturanga into your cobra and meet us in down dog, or take a full chaturanga into up dog and meet us in downward facing dog. Hug your belly button back in your down dog. Taking one more deep breath in your downward dog. Lift your left leg off the ground, look forwards, draw that knee up to your chest, rolling forwards into your plank. So you have that leg lifted. Hold it and then step as far forward between your hands as you can. So we're back into our runner's lunge. Just find a little bounce of the hips. That's stretching out the psoas muscle on the right side this time. It feels beautiful through that thigh. And then using the strength of your legs, just lift yourself up into a high lunge, bending into the front knee, hips are facing forwards, back leg is nice and straight. The back heel is off the ground. You can take your hands to your heart center in prayer. You can keep them on your hips or raise them to the sky, whichever feels good. You can maybe go a little further, coming onto the tippy toes of the front foot. Don't worry if you lose balance. Just play around. And then exhale, frame the front foot once again in your runner's lunge. And walk this left leg to the outside edge of the left hand. So we're in our lizard pose. Keep the legs nice and strong. This is quite a powerful stretch, as well as a powerful move as well if you keep your legs strong. If you need to use your block, come up onto your block if this is going to help you. Or you can use your block to go a little deeper and rest your forearms onto that block. You can keep the back knee lifted, but you can also draw it down to the ground. So there's a few different variations you can play around with and choose the one that works for you. Just breathe deep into this pose, taking 3 deep breaths. Remove your prop and plant your hands on the ground nice and strong. Step back to plank. Step your feet a little further forward, hover your knees, hug your belly button back. Draw your knees to the ground Take an easy plank. You can take a full plank if you have the strength. And then exhale, chaturanga, chest all the way to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra or full cobra. Exhale down. Send your knees together. Open up through the feet and sit between the feet once again. This is called hero pose, when your feet on the outside edges of your thighs. If that's not possible, sit on your block. We're going to do that stretch again in the arms, but other side this time. So lift the left hand, bend it back behind you. You can use the right hand to pull that left elbow a little further down so that you're getting a beautiful deep stretch into the tricep on the left side this time. Sit up nice and tall through the spine. If you want to go further, you're going to take that right hand back behind your body and try and find a little grip of the left fingertips if possible. And we're going to hit two birds with one stone, stretching through the right shoulder. Wherever you are, close your eyes. Let's enjoy some deep breaths. And release the hands. Give your shoulders some nice circles in one direction and then in the other. Roll your neck from side to side just a couple of times. Come on forwards into a tabletop position, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone in the chin. Taking two more. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, arch. Find your way onto your bum. And we're just going to end our class together with some nice twists and then our final resting pose. So take your knees together, sitting up tall. We're going to roll our bodies down to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae, until you're all the way down on the ground. Wrap your right leg on top of your left, either once or twice in eagle legs. Send your hips slightly towards the right and drop your knees to the left. Knees are to the left and your head, take it towards the right. So you're in this beautiful twist. Open your arms out into the shape of a T. Look towards these right fingertips. Close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths. Just allow your breath to come naturally. Try not to force it too much. Starting to wind down. Try to draw your right shoulder down towards the mat, getting a little deeper into your twist. Continue to enjoy this twist. Allow your thoughts to pass. If any thoughts come into your mind, just imagine that they're being carried away on a cloud. They're not there for long enough for you to take a hold of them and Turn it into another thought. Be in the here and in the now. Breathing. Feeling the sensations of your body. Just a few more breaths on this side and we'll swap over. Okay, inhale your knees to the sky. Send your bum back to the center of the mat. Unwrap your legs and let's wrap them the opposite way now. So the left leg on top of the right, wrap it once or twice in eagle legs. Send your hips over towards the left side of the mat just slightly. Keeping your arms in a T shape, drop your legs, your knees over towards the right. Try to keep your shoulder blades flat on the ground as best you can. Look towards your left fingertips and breathe deep. Nice, natural, deep breaths. Stay in this present moment, listening to the breath, feeling all those sensations of the body as you wring it out. Allowing your practice to sink in, giving your muscles a moment of rest after you've used them. Become softer, give into this twist. Taking a few more deep breaths here. Okay, inhale your knees back to the center. Unwrap your legs. We're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Extend your legs, take them slightly wider than your hip distance. Try to get your spine nice and flat against the ground, including the lower spine. Take your hands a few inches away from the body. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Your palms face the sky. Have your face facing the sky. And let your feet just hang heavy. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. I'm just going to talk us through a little relaxation. Try not to skip this. This is such an important, mindful, present moment of our practice. just as important as any other part of the practice, if not more so. So breathe naturally. Become aware of the body as one unit, from head to toe, from shoulder to fingertip. Take notice of how the body feels, of where there's cool air touching the bits that are exposed. Become aware of the weight of the body as it makes contact with the ground or the mat below. Imagine your body is just sinking deeper and deeper, becoming heavier and heavier. Soften the space between your eyebrows and the skin around your eyes. Soften your cheeks, your mouth, all the way down through the chest, the shoulders, all the way through the arms and to the hands. Soften every fingertip. Back up through the chest, relax all the way through the belly. Become aware of that empty space of the belly, as if it doesn't connect. And then all the way through the hip bones, the pelvis. Almost imagine that your hips are relaxing so much that they're opening up and releasing all tension. The muscles are just letting go. And down through the legs, the thighs, to the knees. Down through the calves to the ankles, become heavy. Through the soles of the feet and to the tips of the toes. Relax, relax, relax. You can stay here for as long as you would like, or end your practice with me. Start to wiggle your fingertips and your toes, and then rotate the wrists and the feet in one direction, and then in the other direction. Inhale your arms over your head, stretching out through the body, and then roll onto the side body. Take your time, eyes still closed. Push yourself up into a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed. Sit up tall through the spine, shoulders down. Take your hands to your heart center in prayer. Bow your head to your hands. Namaste, everybody. You can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. I honestly feel so blessed for every single person who ever joins me here on YouTube. I found something that I absolutely love to offer to the world, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. And don't forget, you can always leave me any requests for future classes if you really enjoyed this one, where it was a little slow but also a little powerful, getting you ready for the day. Then do let me know. And guys, if you're on Instagram or on Facebook, you just need to search YogaCandi or click the links down below in the description and you'll be able to find me on those platforms. I'm not a crazy poster. I don't post on there all the time, but I do post sometimes, and it would be really lovely to see you on there and to get to know you a little more. And of course you can always tag me if you do one of my classes and you want to do a little story about it. Tag me, I just love seeing those, so anytime. And that also of course helps the channel to grow, so please do share any class that you enjoy or just the channel in general with friends, family, or just anybody. So until next time, sending you guys lots of love and light. Namaste.